these guys here, but if they're not, we gotta press on.
Sorry.
I'd just like to call the meeting to order. It's about 3:05. And we have to do a roll call, is that correct? Because we're all by Zoom?
Correct.
Okay, so just want everybody to say their name, basically.
John Rexmala.
Patrick Nettles.
Bruce
Trevor
Walker.
Blackford.
Okay, and myself, Barry Warren. Is that okay, Carrie?
Great, thank you.
Okay. As far as old business, the first item was the review of the minutes from our December meeting. Does anybody have any comments, questions, or changes? To me, they looked okay. Anything that anybody wants updated, or is it all good?
I move.
Good.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who made that motion?
Patrick.
Okay, and seconded?
John.
Thank you.
And all those in favor, and we have to actually say our name because of the Zoom criteria.
John's in favor.
Yep.
Bruce
Barry's in favor.
Patrick Nettles in favor.
Trevor in favor.
Okay. And Bruce?
Oh, I said it over you, I think, Barry. Bruce.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. Second item under old business is the wireless updates to the islands that we serve, Minot, Seal, and 700. We have all the specs for the hardware sorted out. I didn't actually go ahead and do anything with that because I wanted to make sure we had the funds to cover it before we got started. Now that we have the survey done, we know what our expenses are going to be as far as maintenance to the fiber network, the OSP. So I feel comfortable we can move forward with that, and we'll get that at the conclusion of the meeting here. I'll get that stuff underway so we can get that project. As you recall, we're going to just do one location initially, just to make sure that all went well as a test. And then if it goes fine, which it should, then we'll roll it out to the other sites as well. And then everything will be standardized on components. It won't be a mismatch of wireless hardware, and it should be simpler to maintain. Okay. Anybody in comments on that? Thoughts? No? Okay.
Like a good plan.
Okay, on to new business. What I was hoping to do is have Andy here to give us an overview, but he's not here, or not here yet anyway. Perhaps we can catch up. Y'all have a copy of the what they proposed that says IMB audit work estimate. Everybody get that okay?
Yes.
And what it has is a listing of all the work they intend to do, the bulk of which is pole transfers and also drop wire cleanup. You can see those on the listings. And he did find a couple of areas that needed some new cable put in. That was on Drexel Lane and on Otter Creek. And so those are the two at the bottom of that listing that are the more expensive of the two. But I have a little sheet that breaks it all out as in terms of what he's doing. After some of the fiber got damaged, and they want to replace sections of it so it's back up to where it should be. I can tell you when we discussed it with him, he thought like 85% of the network was in very good shape and didn't really need any attention, just to be monitored. And these are the things that we want. Thoughts anybody has? Questions?
Question, Barry, in regard to the methodology of the audit, were you comfortable that they did a thorough audit this time as opposed to a sample?
Paige could probably respond to that better than I did, but because he was with him, but he did go over the whole island as opposed to just one localized thing with a, statistical summary. And they also went out to 700 as well. Paige, do you want to comment?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, we did 700 acre. The way it worked, the first day he was here, he and I rode around the island, and I, explained some of the history to him and some of the problem spots. And then P and I also spent a day over on 700 acre. The rest of the time he ran around by himself, so I can't say whether or not he checked everything. From my conversations with him, it sounded to me like he pretty well did check things. I could see there might be a few things that slipped through the cracks, but I don't think a lot.
Very good. Thanks for the clarification.
Okay. Questions that I had for them, there's some things that I would suggest that we go forward with this to get all of this stuff tightened up. And the budget, the cost is shown on their estimate. I realize it's an estimate rather than a final thing, but as long as they can hold to what they proposed here, I'm comfortable with it. If you guys are,
Yeah, I feared it would be much worse, so it's
yeah.
actually,
When they did
Yeah,
it from just a
likewise.
statistical point of view, and I transferred those statistics out to the whole number of polls we had, it was significantly worse. Yeah, it was over $100,000. So this seems like a good thing as long as they're covering everything, as Patrick has mentioned.
Is it possible, can you tell for those of us who don't have a copy of that paperwork as to what their dollar amount is?
Yeah, it's $30,896, and that's to do about 120 pole transfers, a whole drop wire cleanup, about 200 of those, and then there's 3 areas: Drexel, where there's some damaged fiber, Otter Creek, where there's damaged fiber. There's going to be removing and replacing a chunk of that fiber to take out the bad parts, so to speak, and then get it repaired. And down at on Eastern Shore, there's a broken pole, which is going to take a little extra work as well, but that's included in the estimate. The one thing they did have in there on the original thing that he sent to me is they have what they call a setup charge or setup fee, was $500. And when I talked to him, he said that wasn't going to be, that was an error on his part. It was him learning he's new to GWI, him learning the system, and he said that wouldn't be included. But I noticed on his costing for the Drexel and Otter Creek on the final, he still has that included. So that was a question I was going to have for him. And hopefully he'll show here. So it'd be about $1,000 less, so to speak, than what they're showing here.
Barry, the one on East Shore, how is that show on here? Just as a pole transfer?
I asked him that question because I was looking for it, and he said, no, it's just a dead end pole transfer. That's what he's classifying it as.
Well, it's certainly not that. If
Okay.
anything, it would be 2 dead ends.
Well, that's why I wanted him
Interesting.
here to clarify, but I'm just
Yeah,
going
for
on what
sure.
he said.
And what are they doing then with I mean, there's going to be other fees for travel time, ferry, all that?
I asked him, and he said everything was included. Labor, everything's included here. So this should be the final fee that we pay. Labor and materials.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah. We shall see.
Barry,
They
we have
may,
another.
they may have changed their mind, but that's what he told me.
Barry, we have another participant on the line. I'm not sure who that is. That with the number 732 or no, 320-5557.
Yeah. Yeah.
That-
If they could identify themselves.
person is muted.
Yeah, I see that. The
Caller,
caller
you're
on
live with Islesboro Municipal Broadband Committee hearing. Please ask your question for the DJ.
I am unable to send a chat message to that phone number. So I haven't been able to ask who that is.
Okay. Do we have a policy that I think people need to identify themselves on these? So we do record the meetings and the minutes are posted. So if you have administrative host privileges, I think you can boot them.
If you'd like me to, I will.
Unless it's somebody from GWI.
Maybe we can give them a minute if they're going through like the touchstone dials to identify themselves or stuck with the interface.
I don't recognize the number.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought it would just be a good thing to know who that was.
Agreed. I didn't know they were sitting out there.
Okay. I think we've given time for the college.
On the
they're providing, does that mean that the money that was budgeted in last fiscal year, the 100,000 is put out between the batteries and the new hardware and all like that, that there will be no additional money requested for this next fiscal year? Is there enough
No.
to cover?
the next fiscal, you'll have the same budgetary amount to do the rest of the stuff we got to do. So the money we're spending now is coming out of the current fiscal year, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I think last year, when you guys statistically looked at how much work was needed, it was about 200,000, a little over $200,000 worth of stuff. And I believe there was 100,000 put out for this year and possibly 100,000 put out for next fiscal year. So it sounds like it's drastically lower than what was originally estimated. So does that mean that it's not a total of 200,000, or are we still looking at 200,000?
No, this was going to be a phased-in project. So there was going to be different sections of it. One was going to be the OSP, one was going to be hardware at the POP, and then we had to start looking at how we want to roll out newer equipment to replace the ONTs that are at end of life. So some of that money is also looking forward to doing those other parts of this project as well. And once that's all up to speed, then that money should be able to be reduced from the budget. But there was going to be a 3 to 4 year process to get this all done.
So you guys will be requesting another 100,000 for future projects that this coming fiscal year?
That's correct. And phase it in over a 3 or 4 year cycle, whatever it takes to get it all done.
I see no reason not to proceed with the work as estimated.
Sorry, Bruce, could you I didn't get all that.
I was just going to say, I see no reason not to proceed with the work estimate that we got, from the audit or whatever.
Okay. Except for Paige had a question about some clarity on the drops. Is that a showstopper?
I wouldn't call it a showstopper, but it's just certainly a question of clarity. I mean, certainly a question of clarity and definitely prioritization.
Right.
It's like you mentioned before, it's really not
just do them all or just wait until they're in the area or working on something else and take care of them over time. Is that the question?
Yeah. A lot of them, they're not necessarily a problem. It's just some of them during installation, sometimes they're wrapped around the phone wire that's going to the house, or, different small issues like that it's all working just fine, but it's good to clean it up. But that's not a priority issue.
It would seem to make sense to do that sort of stuff while they're in the area and not separate it out as a different project, if that's what the question is.
What Paige is talking about would slow the spend, right? It'd just be over a longer period of time, but I still think we can approve the total amount.
Okay. Someone want a motion on that?
Bruce in favor.
Okay. And I will I'll just let you know, I will follow up to get clarification on that. Also, the other thing that I wanted clarification is once these transfers are done, we have to record that with CMP so they know it's done. And that wasn't stated here. I just want to make sure that's included. I can actually do it, but I don't think it's my job to do it. But if it comes to that, I'll be glad to do it. I have the program that CMP uses to validate the transfers. So just as a side note. Okay, and thank you for that. Okay. The next thing was to review the billing process. I think we can have a general discussion on that since the representatives are not here. Quick background, GWI/Mac Mountain has offered to take over the billing process for us. They want to do it on a monthly basis as opposed to an annual basis. And ideally, they would like to charge the full rate that they're getting paid per month per subscriber, as opposed to the slightly lesser rate that people are paying now. So that's the gist of it. I know there were some concerns about it, which we should probably all air collectively, so everybody knows what everybody else is thinking.
I mean, I thought the discussion that was in the email thread was good. I think that the point about, that people are, that we expect people to subscribe for a full year and not on a month by month basis, even though the billing may be month by month, is an important consideration. Would that be confusing to people or whatever? Because the economics, I guess, get quite different if becomes a seasonal thing, since we have such a large seasonal population.
I think we need a subscriber agreement if we don't have it. That's very clear on that point. And I don't recall from my own experience what that agreement or subscription looks like, but seems to me we ought to review that.
Can I ask some questions when it's a chance for the public?
If you could hang just for a minute, Frank, and then we'll be back to just see what other points are.
There was another part of it where that extra $2 or whatever it is, I think it was suggested, could that be billed to the town directly or taken care of separately so the users didn't see that, or would we put it as sort of a subscription increase?
Yeah, they said they could build the differential if we stayed with the current rate. They would bill the town for the differential, so they can do it either way. Their preference is for some reason, is to do it the full amount. I can see both sides to it. There hasn't been a rate increase really for a long, long time. Not that we want to do one, but it could go either way.
I think we've had one rating increase. It went from 360 to 370. I mean, that was some years ago. It could be time for another rate increase. The question is $24 a year too big of a rate increase? Counted against that, you're now asking them to bill, say, if we do and that's what we should be saying that it is. I think the optics of that could be a little troubling. That's a big jump.
Yeah. Any other thoughts in terms of the rates and how it's really more of a presentation?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but in terms of delinquencies,
is it a problem though? Is it a problem that needs to be solved?
We probably have about 28 right now that are not paid. So,
but in January it was closer to 100. I mean,
yeah, a lot of paid up, but so it's a problem tracking people down, and then we have to turn them off. So,
yeah, which is the middle of right now.
Yeah.
That option of just paying once a year, and other people I really wish I could just pay once a month.
I think it's good to have the options. And so I think we could do an annual, which would include the discounted rate because you're allocating a lot of money in advance, or the monthly. I mean, that's pretty standard for like how you do insurance payments and other stuff. So could we do a hybrid model with them of they take over monthly billing for customers that essentially opt into it, or that we assign?
That sounds like it might be complicated to them of keeping track of which subscribers are on which.
Yeah.
Now, if they,
that's a binary. That should be pretty simple.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it'd be great if they could offer the annual. If they're doing the billing, if they could offer an annual option, and that way we wouldn't have to be in the billing at all for it.
Yeah, they could. I'm just thinking if we're going to keep it where the town has subsidized a certain amount, and we do that for like the annual subscribers, then the town would pay it in a lump sum, or the town would send the monthly remit to the provider. Ultimately, what I want to do is provide the users of Islesboro Broadband with the option, either annual with the discount rate or monthly with a $2 per month increase.
And then at the end of the year, because there's going to be a difference somewhere in there, at the end of the year, there's just a one-time settling up
With the town, you mean?
with the town. Yeah,
Yeah.
with the town.
I guess my look at it is I just soon see not have two-tiered in the rates, just have the same rate, whether you pay it over a year or you pay it all at once. I'm not sure we need the incentive because everybody's used to paying it annually, and just let it go that way. It would make it more simplistic. So when you get your first month's bill from them, so to speak, you just pay the whole year, and that should go into their records, and they should know not to bother you anymore.
Too bad he's not on the line. Yeah, from the Tevis and Adam. Because we can just spin this forever.
I didn't understand that. Sorry.
And I'm sorry that they're not on the line, Tevis and Adam.
Yeah.
We're not making any progress on this. I
Well,
mean, we can't, you all can't without them.
Sounds like we need to discuss more what the options are with them.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good that we had at least an initial go around with it, so we have a sense of what's going on. Frank, you had a question you wanted to add or a comment?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first I'm hearing anything of that, so I didn't even realize this question. But it's in the subscriber agreement about if it's not paid within, I believe, 30 days, we could shut off. Can we try just turning off people's service closer to the 30-day mark of when the bill's due and see how that turns out? Because the town's still paying for that subscriber, whether they end up paying their bill or not. So instead of maybe going to a billing system, which I would then wonder if I don't pay GWI and they go after me, can they bring me to collections? Do they bring people to collections? Who does it come to? How does it work with people's credit scores and so forth, even though they're collecting on the town? And the bigger overall question for me is, would we get a better and sooner payment if the town did in fact start turning people off 30 or 60 days after the due date, like the subscriber agreement says that we all agreed to?
I don't want to turn people off. Like, I think the job of municipal broadband is to provide as much internet access to the island as a whole. And so giving people flexible options of a monthly billing might solve that problem, where people have a hard time keeping like saving together for the annual payment. And so they're less likely to be in those type of arrears. But what we want to address is that we don't shut people off. And so giving them payment options as a way to do that.
Or someone who didn't get turned off till 6 or 7 months after the due date, and the town paid out that money.
And my guess, and it is a guess, is perhaps this is a simplification because they're implementing a new software system. And the new software platform is something that's used for a lot of different a lot of different networks. It would normally be a monthly billing. If we have something more complicated, then it may not be any sort of simplification for them on that implementation. So I think you got to get a candid answer to why they're offering that in order to understand their motivation and how we can go forward. And I think until you know all of that, we're doing the right thing by doing nothing at the moment.
Yeah, now, Patrick, you had a comment that you sent to me about we don't want people to perceive that this is a seasonal service. You know, they're locked in, because if it goes to monthly, it doesn't mean that they can pick 6 months and then they're done.
Right. And that's all in implementing the right kind of subscriber agreement, which would probably be different than we currently have.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts, comments on this topic?
One minor thought with it. I think in the beginning, that's part of why we went with a single price, 1 year payment, was to keep administrative costs down. So you start going to monthly payments, there is more cost with that in terms of administration. And so I could see the idea, like Trevor's saying, hey, on the monthly payment, they pay a couple dollars extra per month just to cover that administrative cost. one consideration from how we started, but honestly, I don't really, have a big say one way or the other, just share that idea.
Okay. Okay, the next item was to review the language in the maintenance policy. And this is to make clarifications for the town and also for anyone that's not authorized to work on the network, just so it's clear to everybody what the rules are. And so I gave you a sample page, and then I had a little suggestions. Any thoughts on that?
I haven't.
You do changes in maintenance, the policy.
Barry, can that stuff get forwarded to the non-committee members? Because none of this came through in the meeting notification, no minutes, no anything other than just what the agenda was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Once again, this is just to look at the language as it is and to see if we want to make changes to it so it communicates better to all the rules about working on the network.
I would like to see that too, Barry. I don't think I saw that email to me.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I missed it, if you did.
Okay. Well, tell you what then, and you guys, let me resend that and we can put this, I don't consider this a super critical item. We can put that in for coming up again at the next meeting. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
Barry, you might be able to screen share also.
I've never done that and I don't want to embarrass myself right now.
I think it's a good idea.
I'm sure I can figure it out, but I didn't want to see you guys be fumbling all through that. Okay.
I think what Frank brings up though, in terms of making sure that we have like the collateral materials associated with the agenda, maybe just when we come up with the agenda, we notate whether or not there's attachments associated. So we make sure that we get those sent out with the meeting notification.
Let's get on him right now. Where he was.
Yeah, one question, Barry, did you, or did someone give them a prompt in the last couple of days about the meeting? It could be the changed time from 4 to 3 was overlooked in their calendar or something of that sort.
Yeah, I actually did give them a prompt, and Tivus responded saying he was going to invite another member from Mac Mountain to show up. And when I sent him the initial thing, I said we're going to have the discussion about the OSP survey first, so not to waste his time. But if he showed up around 3:15, 3:20, it would be better for him. So I don't think it could have been a misunderstanding, but I don't think so.
Okay. Well, there's an old joke that's as you move toward the punchline, it says that's one.
Maybe he's still on standard time.
Anything else? Okay, so motion to adjourn then?
So move. That's John.
Second.
Okay, in favor?
John
Patrick Nettles, in favor.
From Trevor.
Yep, good. Approved from Barry. Thank you all for coming. Sorry, it was a little bit of a false start, but I'll get the stuff going that we can get going.
Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
Yep, thank you.
Good luck with the kidney stone.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck.